Hello, welcome along to this very special intimate sit-down with James Maddison, a new Spurs star in the making. We know you're going to make them much better already. Ali McCoist, of course, needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway because he is the legend that's also joined TNT Sports. And James, welcome along.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Ali.
Hey, is this your first bit of content with TNT?
Oh no, we were waiting for you for 5 minutes, so we did a bit of the social. We did a bit of the
Welcome
social
to my
stuff,
old life.
But it's good to be here. Everyone's been very welcoming. So.
Excellent. We've got loads of questions. I mean,
Millions
Ali,
of
why don't you
questions.
start?
I'll tell you what I want to start with. I want to take you way back, and I gave you a wee indication there when I briefed you earlier.
Yeah, what's coming?
Yeah, I want to ask you, why Aberdeen? You know, I mean, was it a decision you were going out on loan, and you had one or two options, but Aberdeen wouldn't have been when I say wouldn't have been my first choice, I wouldn't have thought it'd been your first choice.
Well, yeah, I'd just left Coventry, right? So I'd already played in League One, and then the offers we had for the start of that season I went into Norwich thinking I was going to play straight away as like a 19, 20-year-old, and we had Wes Hoolahan, Stephen Naismith, Alex Pritchard. We had a lot of big names in my position at the time. So Alex Neil basically said, like, to get games, you're going to have to go on loan. So I was like, that's fine. And the options are kind of League One or Aberdeen, really. And my agent kind of said to me, he said, like, well, you've done League One, you've played 50 times for Coventry, and I'm not sure what more you're going to gain from going to another League One club. Maybe do Aberdeen and go and play in front of, like, 60,000, 50,000 at Ibrox and Southwick Park. And I went with it, and I'm so glad I did, because it was such a good 6 months for me, and I really enjoyed it. And it was such a good fit. I was so young and such like, I look back now and I felt like an adult at the time, but I was just a young kid. And
how old were you at the time?
I think I was like 19 maybe, but I thought I knew it all. You know, I thought I'd cracked it, but. I learned a lot going up there, especially because the league's quite brutal and it
can be.
You know, it's like it's physical. They pick on young English kids who think they've made it already.
Yeah.
But it's such a growing up process for me, and managed to stick one in the top corner against Rangers.
I was
there. Remember that one?
I was there.
I
wasn't cheering just as loudly as you were. But it was a heck of a free
days
kick.
like that as well. Like that was exactly what we went up for. Them high-profile games on TV, the stuff that you kind of don't really get in League One. So. Yeah, better off for it.
Brilliant.
Ali's never forgot it, clearly, and been
Never.
waiting for all of this moment.
No.
Another thing that Ali and me, I think, share is a real joy of watching you play football. It's not just football. Obviously, we love your interviews and your personality in general, which is why the question is, why Spurs? Like, why did you decide to go to Spurs?
Take long.
It
didn't take long for that, did it?
Congratulations,
Arsenal
first
fan
of
Laura,
all.
in case we didn't know.
I'm only jealous.
What happened to the congratulations? Well done. Are you enjoying your move?
Thanks, Laura.
It was a real secondary, wasn't it? Honestly, though, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Listen, you you didn't mean that, did you?
I did.
No, I obviously got to the point. Leicester, my time at Leicester didn't finish how I wanted it to, and we obviously went down in the end, which was very disappointing, very sad. Because I wanted to end on a good note and go out like on a positive, you know, and it wasn't to be. But you come to them parts in life where you get set back, and this was the next step for me. And like I've said in a few interviews and stuff, people have asked like why Spurs and whatnot. You have to make decisions. You come to parts and points in your life, not just in your work, but in life as well. You have to make a decision. And I could see myself playing for Spurs, you know, and I could see myself as a Tottenham Hotspur player, as much as that might annoy you, Laura. And I'm really happy with, like, it's a brilliant club and it's a big club, and you feel that when you arrive, and I've been made to feel very welcome and stuff. So hopefully we can have some success on the pitch now. Yeah.
You said, James, that it didn't finish the way at Leicester you wanted it to, and I get that totally. However, did that make it slightly easier to move?
Yeah, well, I was always going to play in the Premier League. But like, I didn't want to go down just because I have such a good relationship, such a big love for Leicester.
Yeah.
And it's also like the pride of us as players being, you don't want to be the team that took Leicester back to the Championship. Fingers crossed that Leicester come straight back up, and they look like they got a good chance to, kept majority of the squad together. I know me and Harvey have gone, but there's a core of the squad that are still there, made some good signings. So hopefully they can come back up, but I just didn't want it to end like that, you know, and so we could, even if I was to leave, if we stayed in the Premier League, we could like part on good terms kind of thing, instead of it being on a little bit of a sour note, just because that's my feeling towards the club, you know, and the owner and all the staff there. But it wasn't to be, and that's just part of the journey. Yeah.
One thing as well I wanted to ask you about Spurs, and honestly, for the record, a player of your quality going to, I will say, a top Premier League side will be the making of you 100% if you weren't already there, because you're just such a talent. And you get to work with Big Ange, and we both obviously really interested in him, what he's like as a manager. I met him at Wimbledon really, really briefly, and I really embarrassed myself because I went, oh, I said, I've watched loads of your inspirational speeches. And he was like, thanks. And then I just walked off, and it was like, yeah, I embarrassed myself yet again. But is he like that? Is he inspirational? What's he like?
I can kind of see that conversation happening just because of how he is. Like, not that you embarrass yourself,
Yes,
Laura,
yeah.
more like that the gaffer's very straight to the point, very no nonsense, says it how it is, honest. Keep himself to himself. I don't think he'd mind me saying that. But when it comes to meetings or team talks or tactical stuff, he's on the ball, and he's enthusiastic, and he you know, and you can tell when someone talks that they believe in what they're saying. You know, it's not just fake, and that's why I said half the reason of me wanting to go to Spurs was speaking to him and the way he spoke. And I've said already in another interview that he said one thing to me that made, after I got off the call, I was like I couldn't believe it. He said, whether you join Tottenham or not, James, you're going to see a completely different Spurs this year. And like the way he said it was like, it's like, well, you can come and be a part of it if you want, James, and we'd love you to. But if you don't, then you're going to see the way I play in the team anyway. And it stuck with me a little bit. And he had that self-belief in how he played, and I'm looking forward to working with him. Yeah.
I genuinely believe that'll happen, you know, because I saw his Celtic team, James, and, you know, pains me to say it, they were easy in the eye, they were good, they were entertaining, they were attacking. And I think he will get a team that will be different to what we've become accustomed to at Spurs. But I want to ask you a question, and it's a bit unfair because you've not been there long enough, but what you've seen maybe before you went and what you've seen since you've gone, what's it going to take for Spurs to compete in those Champions League positions, if it's possible?
Well, I think firstly the team's really like bought into how the gaffer wants to play, and the players have obviously had. It's been well documented in the media that the Tottenham have had a couple of coaches that have been maybe more defensive-minded, big-named coaches who have been very successful, but have been a little bit more defensive-minded. And the gaffer's come in and kind of stripped that back and said, like, basically, if this goes wrong, it's on me, kind of thing. So play with the shackles off, and the lads are buying into it. Like, I see training every day, and the quality's so high, and the lads are really buying into it and trying to implement what he wants. Because it can be difficult if you work with managers who your natural instinct is almost to go like defensive or sit off, and that's like the opposite of what he wants. So it's good to see everyone buying into it. Obviously, it's all I know at my Spurs because I've only just joined, but I can see everyone working really hard, and hopefully that pays off on the pitch when it comes to the start of the season. Yeah.
What was it like going in? What was it like with some of the players that you obviously know quite well? You've been in England sides with them and stuff like that. What were they all like with you?
Yeah, that was all sweet. And obviously the players that I didn't know personally, I've played against them for 5 years, you know what I mean, 5, 6 years. So
did they make you do an initiation or anything?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I sang Jason Mraz, I'm Yours. No, everyone's got to sing, everyone's got to do initiation. Singing's the normal one, so we went on tour and all the new signings had to do it. Chair at the front, holding the bottle of water as a microphone, and I was trying to click and my hands were just like shaking. And
Sweaty, like, yeah.
I've got Harry Kane's in front of me, videoing, like, phone in my face.
You must have seen, is it the American football guy who does it? Oh, all his teammates get right into it. And it's just the best thing. They're all giving it Michael Jackson. It's not. It's Billie Jean. You've got to see it. Put it on. It's on YouTube. I think it might be one of the Indianapolis Colts, and that's his thing. He's got to get. So he starts singing Billie Jean, and it's brilliant. Win 2 seconds or 5 seconds, they're all into it, and the whole place is up. You never get that reaction.
Nah. Oh no, I got tomatoes and booed off. But, that is one of the best things, though. You know, when you actually have a new player in, right, and you have got no idea if he's good. It's normally rubbish. Like 90% of the time we're rubbish. But every now and then you get someone and everyone just like chin shots to the floor, everyone gets into it. It's good. I've seen a few.
So none of you or anyone else, or what about like in Leicester, anyone who's ever been really, really good?
I know Tammy Abraham's very good. He's got a very good voice. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
He does a little Boys to Men.
Does he?
End of the Road. You know that one?
Yes.
He's a little bit better than that. Tammy is. But,
What was the one you sang? Remember the one you? Come on.
Oh, no. We've run out of time. No, that lives with me all the time on the radio. I can't even.
what's this?
Oh, have you not heard it,
Can't
James?
even, which one is it again?
Oh, I can't remember. To be
It's
brutal,
not, can't live,
to
live
be
this
brutally
without
frank, you destroy it.
I did destroy it. The only person that likes initiation songs is Ali. Actually, really enjoys doing them.
I don't mind a bit of Springsteen.
Exactly.
You got a good voice, Alex.
I didn't
He
say
does,
that.
no, he
I didn't
does,
say that,
he
James. I just
does.
said I don't mind a bit of Springsteen.
He really does. James, we have to wrap this up. We have to let you go. Thank you so much. It's really exciting.
Very best of luck.
Seeing you play
Thank
for a new
you for
team.
having me.
Yeah.
Please don't be too good. You're going to be brilliant. I know it, and I think it's going to suit you really well. So thank
Can't
you.
wait. We can't wait to see you. Good
Thanks,
luck.
Ali. Really
Excellent.
appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Maddison.